What is going on, guys? Xtimus here. So today I'm going to be showing you a brand new build for patch 2.5, and this is a Shockwave Druid that is completely overpowered. This is one of the most overpowered builds in Diablo 2 right now that no one's talking about, and I think it's because there's a lot of speculation going around whether this was actually done by Blizzard or if this is something that maybe they messed up in the line of code when doing patch 2.5. So yeah, there's a lot of speculation going around with that, and this is just an amazing hardcore build, crazy survivability, crazy damage. I think that this is better than a hammered in on Diablo 2. So just super excited to show you guys this build, and I've been playing it on patch 2.5 myself on my level 92 Druid. So I've just been having a ton of fun with it. So timestamps are in the description below if you guys want to skip to whatever part of the video you want to see. And let's just get into the video. Alright, so starting off with the equipment right here, this is basically what I recommend. If you guys want to check the description below, you can see all of the items, so you can see all of the different tiers. So I'm starting off with a Spirit Sword, and eventually I'll move up to a Heart of the Oak. So if you guys want to check upgrades, just look at the description below, but this is my overall recommendation for the itemization on the build. So starting off with the Spirit Sword, obviously really cheap. This build really relies on all skills, so plus to all skills, druid skills, shapeshifting skills. Skills are going to increase your damage the most, so that's the most important part of this build, to make sure that it does the most amount of damage. So I'm using a Spirit Crystal Sword. You can get this from a normal cow level. You can get a White Crystal Sword from normal cows and then use the socket quest and get one of these really easily. So, and then next up I'm using Jalas. This is also really cheap, and this is the best in-slot helmet for this build because it gives 4 to all skills for shapeshifting and druid skills. So it gives you 4+ skills to your shockwave damage, so it's all around just really good. High resistance is there, good skills. This is the best in slot item. Get Jalas. Then for the amulet, I'm using a 3 to shapeshifting skills amulet. You don't need the faster cast rate right there, just make sure you get a 3 shapeshifting skills amulet. I had a 2 skill one for a really long time, so this is another item you can get really cheap in the trading community. Next up I'm using Spirit, and I'm pretty sure this is the best in slot for this build. Spirit is really cheap, and again, resistances and the really important plus to all skills. And then next up I'm using Rain. I never thought I'd ever use this rune word. I always thought it was terrible, and the reason why Rain is really good is because it gives 2 to druid skills. Now it's really important because a lot of armors in Diablo 2 do not have 2 to all skills. So you're going to have to upgrade to something like a Chains of Honor, and you're probably not going to be able to afford that until really end game. So Rain is definitely the best option, I think, for this build, and I really don't think you need to go out of your way to even get a Chains of Honor, because even once you get a Heart of the Oak, you're not even going to need the resistances. So I personally would really just stick with Rain for the entire time. And then I'm using Train Gloves. You can use these, or you can use Mage Fist. Now I'm using a 10% faster cast rate ring. So you really want to watch your faster cast rate and make sure you're hitting one of your breakpoints. I think 63 is a really good area for faster cast rate. So just make sure you stay around that area, or just, you know, check your breakpoints, guys, and just make sure that you're hitting a good amount of faster cast rate for your character. And then I'm using a Mortal King belt. This is one of the most overpowered belts in Diablo 2 that I never see anybody use. It saves you a ton of strength to use your Spirit Monarch, so that 25 to strength really gives you a lot of extra points to put into vitality. And the huge lightning and fire resist right there, 31%, 28%. It's just absolutely an amazing belt. You'll eventually move to Arachnid Mesh, but for right now I'm just using a Mortal King belt. And then I'm using Raven Frost. This is really important for the Cannot Be Frozen. You're probably not going to be teleporting around a whole lot unless you have Enigma, or if you're using your teleport staff. I do use the teleport staff sometimes, but most of the time I'm just running around. So, you know, I really need to make sure that I have Cannot Be Frozen, or else I'm just going to be walking around really slowly. And then moving on with the build here, I'm using Alder's Boots. At the time I really needed more fire resistance, so I was just checking my build, and that's why I needed it at the time. There's some other really good options out there like War Traveler Boots. I really don't think the boots are going to make or break the build, so you don't have to worry about it too much. So, and then on Switch, I have 3 different options here. So one is I'm using the Puzzler Staff, and this has teleport charges, but this is going to cost you around 100k gold per full charge repair. And another item I have on Switch sometimes is Ondals. This is really good for the 5% increased experience gained, and it's really good because that gives up to +4 to all skills, so that's really going to help out my damage. So it will definitely help out your experience a lot if you're trying to get to level 99. And then for the most time on Switch, I have the Harmony Bow. So this is really going to help me out with run walk speed, so I can just get through terror zones a lot quicker, and I'll just be running around in bear form, and I just hit W when I want to run faster. And this is really good in case like you're entering like a really scary boss pack or something like that, and you just want to run away, or even if you're just trying to rush to the monsters, because you're going to have to be pretty close to them using Shockwave. So Harmony is really good to have most of the time I have this on Switch. And then in my inventory, I'm just using Shape-Shifting Skill Grand Charms. Those are going to help out my damage. I have a Physical Sunder, and I have an Annie and a Torch. And you're going to be using an Act 5 Mercenary, and you absolutely have to make sure that you're using a Lawbringer Phase Blade. So this is really going to help out your damage a lot. That Decrepify curse is going to really increase your damage a lot because it lowers the physical resistance to monsters. So a lot of times if you do try this build out, you might run into some monsters and you'll see that you're not doing a whole lot of damage, or they have stone skin. So it's really going to be difficult to kill those monsters because they have such high physical resistance. So just don't get discouraged once the Decrepify gets casted on the monsters. If you see a pack that's just not taking a lot of damage, as soon as the Decrepify gets casted on the monsters, you'll really start to see your damage go up, and you'll just take out those monsters right away. And then on Switch, I'm using another Lawbringer because I want to get more Decrepify curses going because it really increases my damage. There's a lot of other options here. You don't have to use 2 Lawbringers, just make sure you have 1. I know that Head Striker is really good because it has Deadly Strike, and it really increases the survivability for your Mercenary because he's going to be getting more life leech from monsters because he's going to be doing double damage a lot. So Head Striker is really good. Azarath, Lightsaber, Blood Moon is really good. I use Blood Moon because it has huge survivability, and it has 50% chance to open wounds, so that really helps out when I do Diablo clone, and my Mercenary can do Diablo clone with this build. So Blood Moon is really good. So just any of those options, I would just say either Lawbringer, Head Striker, or use Blood Moon, one of those 3. It's really up to you, and they're all good options, and they all have their special values that make them, you know, good in their own way. And then I'm using G-Face. This is really good for the Crushing Blow. I personally use this because I like killing bosses and things like that. There's many other good options out there like Vampire Gaze. Just check the description below, and you'll just see a whole bunch of different options there. It's kind of like with the sword. It's not going to make or break the build, but definitely if you're doing Diablo clone and trying to kill bosses, I would make sure that you have a G-Face, because this build just doesn't do bosses very well. But if you combine your shockwave damage with your Mercenary when he's doing Crush and Blow and things like that, you'll really be able to be a lot more effective versus bosses. And then for my armor, I'm using a Ethereal Black Hades, and I have 3 40 enhanced damage jewels in there. And this is really good right here. It really increases his damage. I got it because I wanted him to have more attack rating against demons for when I do Diablo clone or kill bosses. There's many other different options out there like Treachery or Gladiator's Bane. You don't have to have this, but this is just my personal recommendation and what I use. And for the skill tree, I put 20 points into Shockwave, 20 points into Maul, and 20 points into this right here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And this is going to increase your life. And I put 20 points into Oak Sage, and then I put 1 point into Heart of the Wolverine. And any leftover points I put into Werebear for more defense. And for Heart of the Wolverine, there are certain situations where you could just, instead of using Oak Sage, you could use Heart of the Wolverine if you want to do more damage. Or if you're trying to do Diablo clone, It really just depends on what situation you're in. If it's not very dangerous and you're just trying to do more damage, I would use Heart of the Wolverine. But for the most part, you're probably just going to be using Oak Sage because it gives you so much more life and you really don't need to be focused too much on Heart of the Wolverine. And my attributes are pretty basic here. I'm putting enough points into Strength to use my gear, enough points into Dexterity to use my gear. I don't even think I put any points into Dexterity. All of your extra points into Vitality, and Energy none. Alright, so let me show you guys how to play this build here. So on the left, you have Shockwave on F2, and to use Shockwave, you're going to have to hold down your left shift and then left click. So this is how you're going to be using the skill. So yeah, and then on my right, on F1, I have Werebear. You're going to be transforming in and out of Werebear at times if you're using your teleport staff. So it'll just take some time for you to get used to that. So F1 for Werebear on the right, and then on F5 I have Oak Sage, and F6 I have Heart of the Wolverine. So as soon as you cast Werebear, so when you first start you want to cast Werebear, then you want to hit F5 and cast Oak Sage. So, and make sure that you keep Oak Sage on your right skill. So when you're in battle, you always want to have Oak Sage on the right, and you want to right click to cast him, to summon him, because the Oak Sage is really going to die a lot. So all the time, just make sure you kind of go between using Shockwave and just summoning your Oak Sage, and this will definitely save you a lot and save you from dying and everything like that. You'll really notice that he's just going to die a lot. So, but like I said before, it might seem like he dies really quickly and you just can't seem to keep your Oak Sage up, but if you really apply yourself and just really get used to the build, you'll just get used to casting Shockwave and just casting Oak Sage at the same time while you're in battle. You'll see in the gameplay in a minute. So just apply yourself, guys, and just really try to keep your mindset on the build a lot, and you'll be really effective in the game, and that goes for any build. All right, so let's just get into some gameplay here, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, well that's about it for the video, guys, so make sure you subscribe if you guys like my Diablo 2 content, and the complete build guide is in the description below if you guys want to check it out. I love all of you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next video, so bye.